All right, is it recording? I think it is. Okay. So, I'm Braxton from Bold Hacks. The mission of Bold Hacks is to inspire and curate the evolution of humanity. And got to do that by inspiring and evolving myself. So, you can join me on the journey by hitting subscribe. I love doing that, health, nutrition, fitness, mentality, sleep, movement, all those different things. And I love sharing it too because it hones my skill set and it just makes me joyful, the fact that I can help others in that same awesome journey. So in today's little video, I just want to do a live freestyle thing of a conversation I have with my dad about a quote, a little passage from this book, As a Man Thinketh. Amazing book. It's by James Allen. What I love about this book is, first of all, it's just solid with what it's talking about and all the principles. And I think sometimes when you first read it, not everything really sinks in. Stuff's hard to palate, but this is a book that you can read your whole entire life. It's great. And the thing about reading something multiple times is you're a different person when you read it again, or even with a movie when you watch it again. So you're picking up on different things that apply to your life differently. So that's why I love a book like this. And the great thing too, it's super short. You can read it at lunch, one sitting, like 1 hour. And there's so many good highlightable quotes. Get a pen and highlighter. I'll just read the passage that I started the conversation with my dad with. The aphorism, as a man thinketh, in his heart, so he is, not only embraces the whole of a man's being, but is so comprehensive as to reach out to every condition and circumstance of his life. A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all his thoughts. As the plant springs from and cannot be without the seed, so every act of a man springs from the hidden seeds of thought and could not have appeared without them. This applies equally to those acts called spontaneous and unpremeditated as to those which are deliberately executed. Act is the blossom of thought, and joy and suffering are its fruits. Thus does a man garner in the sweet and bitter fruitage of his own husbandry. So this conversation, when I got into the thick of it with my dad, one thing that I realized towards the middle or end of the conversation is that part of this, he brought up what about circumstance? What about your environment and whatnot? And what about basically having an acute sense of the lay of the land? So one thing, in order to approach it better though, to orientate better with this whole idea of the power of thoughts and how thoughts are the foundation of everything, is that, and I think this was in the book, The Magic of Believing. I have it sitting right there so I can just reference it. And it talks about how buildings and all these things that are physical objects you can think of it as no more than just lower vibratory thoughts. At one point in time, they were just an idea in a man or woman's head that then took form externally. So we have our higher vibratory thoughts, and then we have the expression of them. Our physical body, the building and environments that we create and construct. And our physical body could be in the sense that we're feedback loop. This was a big secondary aspect that I touched on with him with the conversation, is that we're not in reality separate from it. We are part of reality. And our conscious experience, the entirety of what we know and experience, is a collaboration with the environment. Really similar to our genes and the science of epigenetics. It's an expression and a two-way street, a dialogue that we have with our environment and with our nervous system. We're a feedback loop, an ongoing feedback loop, second after second. And so with these thoughts and everything, it's just that it all boils down to that everything is a cause and an effect, and it sets in motion. And I love the lines of thought from Tony Robbins, where he talks about, each thought stacks on itself, and it creates a direction, and that direction creates momentum towards a certain target. And you can really, I like to simplify the idea of that, and thinking similar on a graph, with y and x axis, you're either having a cumulative positive movement or a cumulative negative movement. So you can think about, are these thoughts serving me? Are they having me go up or down? Are these actions serving me? And the other thing I touched on, which I've come to myself, been able to integrate this more into my thinking and realize the truth in it, but everything outside of you is a reflection of inside. And this derives from one of the 7 Hermetic principles, the law of correspondence, which is as above, so below, as below, so above, as without, so within, as within, so without. And this is just, again, it's talking about the feedback loop. And in the book, they talk about how suffering is just a teacher. It's showing us where we need to do some work internally. And another great post, I'll link this too because I really appreciated it, was about manifesting, which is it's a kind of a jumbled topic with lots of different thoughts about it, but he, in this article, was differentiating between attracting and the secret school of thought, and manifesting. He was using the word, and the analogy that he used to illustrate it was great. It was that in our eyes we have rods and cones and certain molecules that are able to pick up and have a sensory input of a certain color, a pigment. Red, green, and blue is what we developed. And then we have a blend of that to see the other visible light spectrum colors. So when we're looking at something red, like an apple or a book, and we see that red color, it's because of the fact that our pigment in our eye is able to have the same wavelength of light frequency to resonate with the external. So our internal, an internal aspect of us is co-resonating, was the word he used, with an external entity, attribute. So that's that collaboration. And only things that we have within ourselves can we actually resonate with. Everything else is in a sense deleted, or it's not even brought into our conscious experience. It doesn't enter into that tango, that collaboration. So it goes with saying on top of that, the word manifest, meaning you are tuning into, just like a radio, or co-resonating with external things that are reflected internally. So I think the best way I like to approach this is asking, what can I learn from what I'm focusing on, from what I'm experiencing, from what I'm picking up on or co-resonating with, manifesting externally, and what can I learn from that? It's always a teacher. So the lesson's always there, and by asking a question like that, you're more apt to actually pick up on what that lesson will be, so that you can have the awareness and take action. So again, this book's amazing. Go check it out. It's tiny, and it's something you can read your whole life. I hope that was a cool little brain dump. I plan on doing more of these. I'll have more, scripted, or not scripted, but like edited videos. But I also love just this kind of live blurb here. So you can subscribe down below to see. I'm going to be doing product reviews for great things like this ring, which helps me perform better and be my best self, as well as some keto tips, because I love the keto diet and I love sharing it with others, how to do it better, more easily, more effectively, as well as some cooking and some book summaries, not just talking about books, but kind of summarizing some of my favorite books. So stay tuned. There's a lot of fun, interesting, empowering things ahead. Peace and love. See you guys.